Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike. With me, as always, is my good friend, Andrew. And this week, while on vacation, we're doing the episode as we normally would, just not in the same places as before. This week, we're breaking down, we're continuing our divisional breakdown with the AFC North. And for those that don't know, your AFC North consists of the Baltimore Ravens, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Cleveland Browns, and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Andrew, it is Tuesday night that we're doing this. We have some scheduling that we are moving around, being fluid, making sure that it all works. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Unfortunately, tomorrow I couldn't record, so
That's okay.
gotta go house hunting. So,
And I wish you all the best. I hope you find what you're looking for. Does that mean you have good news on the selling of your home, or you're just being proactively up?
Proactive.
Okay.
Go look at some places and
Okay.
see if they're worth the money that people are posting them for, which
Well,
they're not going to be.
they're not going to be. And I'll let everybody in on a bit of an offline chat that we had recently. I come back from vacation next week. The weekend after, you, me, and some of our Super Bowl buddies are going to get together, and we're going to go and devalue some property somewhere for you. We're going to get together and socialize and catch up. And yeah, so you find a place that you like, and we'll go make it affordable.
By the time you get back, maybe the property will be mine anyway.
Okay.
If things line up perfectly, then
Okay, man. Awesome.
putting it out there in the universe.
The
Give me
universe
something
will provide
good.
you.
God damn it.
Well, you can't cap it off with a statement like, God damn it.
This was my luck. I said to the realtor, hey, I want to go check out this one address. That's the number one on my list. Yeah, there's an offer pending on it. Oh, well, what the hell?
Oh, go figure, hey?
I mean, their conditions come off on the 9th. So if something doesn't get accepted by the 9th, then I can maybe swoop in and put an offer.
Oh, hey, there's a backup offer. Like, I like the place. Tell me a little bit about this place. Was it an apartment, townhouse, duplex, full-on house?
Single family house.
Nice.
It's in Summerside. And the place is empty. The nice thing is the place is empty, so I should be able to get possession. If I can get it, I can get possession pretty quick. So, because I want to be moved in before the end of the month, so that
Really, you want a quick possession?
Yeah, it's so that Brianne, my daughter, can get acclimated before school starts.
Fair enough.
Figuring out bus routes to school because she's got a long ass commute.
That's got to be a bit of a challenge, is it not? To try and find a place that will be available by August 1st.
I'm specifically targeting places that, when I'm looking online, the places are empty.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it's empty, there should be a quick possession date.
That should be right. If it's empty,
yeah,
then that should be the case. There are those radio advertisements I hear that always talk about quick possession homes. There's like a new community that's being built. We have these homes. They're empty right now, and we're giving you a great deal because they're not selling as fast as we would like. Please move in. And I apologize, fans of the podcast. My wife and her friend were staying at some friend's place here in Vernon, British Columbia, and they have a studio in an external garage. And there's a movie theater that they've built into the garage. So it's no longer a garage. It's
You filmed in this garage like 3 years ago.
Yeah. So the garage has now got, it's a movie theater. And they're trying to watch a movie, except it's not working. So who did they call? This guy.
Well, the audio video guy.
Yeah, so, I'm the AV guy. I'm the guy who's
going
to make it work.
Jump off and
right now I'm offering tech support over the phone. I'm saying, hey, check this, check this, check this, check this, like plug this in here. And first things first, turn it on. That's the first thing. Second thing is
Check your input.
you yeah, you need to plug in a laptop. They have a movie on a USB stick, and they're trying to play it by plugging the USB stick into the home audio receiver, which is just that's not how that audio receiver works. Um, that's the upload firmware port, not the I can load movies into this port and it will play. Yeah. Anyways, I should have set that up first and then come down here. I didn't think about that,
If we have
but
to
that's
pause
okay.
and you splice two things together,
It's they'll figure it out. They're smart people. I married one of them. They'll figure it out. Anyways,
that doesn't mean she's audio video
no,
capable
she's
just because
not.
she's married to you.
That's why she married me. Is I can handle those things for her.
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's okay.
Anyway, yeah, that's the update for my stoof. And
Cool.
yourself, how you doing? Obviously good
Good.
on vacation, getting drunk.
Yep. I'm several beers in. This is we left Friday, got to my sister's, had our little Lake Canada weekend celebration, played her backyard games. The rain finally stopped long enough for do it, but the ground was so soaked at every step you took, the water would bubble up. So we
Nice.
had fun. It was a good time. We ate great. We drank great. We had some fun. Nobody got injured, which is thankful because last year I got a little overzealous and might have thrown a little too many body checks. So we kept it in check this year, down low key. And then the drive from home out here to BC was really nice and beautiful. We saw lots of wildlife, and dramatically. So a 9-hour drive through the mountains to get here. We went from rainy, soggy flooding to hot, dry, and on a water restriction. So we all can't shower every day because there's not enough water in the town system. The lakes are lower, the rivers are lower, and things are very brown here because there's just not enough moisture. And I'm thinking, that is wild. Literally, just on the other side of the mountains, there's nothing but water. So all of your water is flying over top of you and then coming down the mountains on us.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy because they're really dry here.
They'll make up for it, I'm sure, this summer. But
Yeah.
the fear is for the forest fires and stuff.
Yes. So they're on extreme fire watch. There's no outdoor fires allowed. Big fire ban. And I guess they attribute it back to the lack of snowfall throughout the winter. So they had only 3 days of snow where the snow stayed more than 24 hours. So they've had no snow here all winter long. They were doing landscaping. So the home we're at, they did landscaping February 3rd. Now that might not mean anything to some of you guys, but February 3rd is usually
Ground is usually
cold,
frozen solid.
frozen. Yeah, we're so in Alberta, we're so frozen that the thought of doing anything outside
Oh,
other than like
the weekend before the Super Bowl, February 3rd,
mm-hmm.
I believe, was a -30, because that was a couple of days before my birthday.
Yeah.
So it was like -30.
Yeah, we have okay, so we did have a couple good days of really warm weather, but not enough to that we didn't have snow. We had snow. It was cold. But here, they literally paved a driveway and did all the landscaping in their front yard.
That's craziness.
It is crazy to me. The excuse me, the thought of all of that happening. That's anyways. So the weather is beautiful here, super hot, very dry though, unfortunately. We spent the day at the lake, Kalamalka Lake, and lake was warm, beautiful, lots of fun. We enjoyed it. So the vacation is great. I'm looking forward to enjoying myself while I'm out here, and then getting back to regular life next week.
Back to rain.
Back to rain. Yeah, it
'Cause
looks like there's
it's
still raining.
well, today, yesterday and today was nice, but the rest of the week is supposed to rain.
Yeah,
Like
we were looking at
another 25 to 30 centimeters on Saturday.
Mhm.
So Hopefully you got everything sorted out with the basement.
We'll find out. We'll find out.
Yeah.
We have a friend stopping by every couple days to check.
That's good.
When we had all the rain last week before we left town, the basement was dry. I did a little perimeter check before we left. Still good. I'm very happy we got the work done to fix the basement beforehand, because now
Yeah.
they just like we're booked. It's like we don't have enough people. We don't have enough resources. We're just slammed.
Well, and just if you think about, had you guys not gotten the work done, the amount of water we've had over the last 30 days, your basement would have been as deep as your pool.
It could have been. It very well could have been. We only had a little bit of water by comparison when the first leak happened. So when I had that little spout shooting out the wall to show me like, hey, look, you've got a leak. There's a crack here. Fix it. I can only imagine what that would look like how far that stream would be shooting into my basement had I not addressed it.
Yeah, with the ground saturation now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That'll be bad. All right. Well, let's talk about football. Let's move on to the subject at hand. We're going to do a quick little divisional breakdown. We're going to look at how those teams did last year. And to be honest with you, this group of teams did not do well. It was an ugly finish, but some significant changes have been made. So the team that won this division, mind-boggling, were the Steelers at 10-7. After which Mike Tomlin stepped down and, in theory, has retired from football. I don't think he's done. But at 10-7 with a busted Aaron Rodgers and all kinds of things that didn't go well for them, they still won the division at 10-7, which just tells you how bad everything went for everybody else.
Yes. Well, the division had lots of injuries.
Yeah.
Every team had major injuries at one point or another throughout the season.
Okay, so they did, but let's talk about that. So the Pittsburgh Steelers, what injuries did they suffer?
Really? Well, I think Rodgers missed one or two games. They were the only one that was kind of injury free,
right,
for the most part. But I think that team is just kind of right now. That team's in an influx.
Yeah,
they got a new coach. They got a questionable quarterback now. He's become a questionable quarterback.
Oh, like he was garbage last year. I think he's less than questionable. He is downright garbage.
So I think that team is kind of in a, I don't want to say rebuilding, but in a influx position.
They're in a state of delusion.
Well, I don't have them last, but they're not going to do as good as they did last year, I don't think.
Okay.
They've got some aging players like Freiermuth and some of their wide receivers are a little bit older. And
tell me their identity. What are they?
A defensive team.
Okay, that's what you'd say. They are a defensive team.
They're not an offensive juggernaut anymore like they were with Roethlisberger. No.
I guess that's really it then, hey? Is you have to classify them as a defensive team because their offensive identity is, to me, is confusing. You've got names, but your best player last year was Kenny Gainwell, your backup running back, and he's gone.
Yeah. If anything, if I had to say for their offense, they're going to have to be a running team.
Okay. Jaylen Warren, Rico Dowdle.
They're going to have to step up, but I don't know if they've got what it takes.
Okay. Let's talk about the Ravens. Ravens finished second in the division, 8-9. This was the team it's usually the team to beat.
Yeah.
And Lamar Jackson missed more than half the season.
Correct. And they didn't use Derrick Henry the way they should have, I don't think.
Well, they became a one-dimensional team. If they don't have Lamar, they couldn't pass. They couldn't fake the quarterback run. It was literally all Derrick.
Well, and I think they fell behind in a lot of games, so they had to throw more than they intended to. So Derrick Henry didn't. He had a decent year, but he didn't have a superstar year.
Okay. Then we had the Bengals.
Yes. And again, Joe Burrow going down. Jamar
Slow
Chase missed
start.
time. They had a
Yep.
slow start like they always do. Jamar Chase went down. T. Higgins went down. The only one that had to me that had a good year was the running back,
Chase Brown. Slow
Chase
start,
Brown.
though.
But yes. But the whole team had a really slow start.
I think offensively, they had a great offense. They just had no defense. So they couldn't outscore their opponents. That was the problem.
And I think that's what saved them in the years past is you're right that in years past they've been able to squeak out the field goal win at the end of the game because the offense kept them in the game. I think they've made some changes on defense. They've gotten better. I think their offensive line has gotten a little bit better. So I expect them to improve this year, especially if everybody stays healthy.
Right. Okay, and then we've got the Browns, and
this team is just in disarray.
You think the
Steelers are an enigma. The Browns are that much, I think, further back.
Okay, but to me, it comes down to quarterback. If the Steelers had a quarterback that they can rely on, I think the Steelers would be much better. Same thing with the Browns. I think they've got more than enough weapons, and their defense was fantastic, even though they don't have Myles Garrett anymore. Their defense was fantastic, and that's what kept them at least close in games, even though they finished 5-12. My biggest concern is the quarterback position. You could have put in a mediocre quarterback on this team. That team would have gotten way more wins. Like if
I don't know if
Cousins,
they need the continuity, they or consistency, right? To get those wins, having the mediocre quarterback is okay, but if you're not getting consistent play out of everybody, even the mediocre quarterback, I don't think can save them. On that team, I think again, you look at for an identity. I think they have to be a running team this year. Junkins is going to have an insane year for this team to do anything. They picked up Jerry Jeudy a couple of years ago, so now he's on his second year. Harold Fannin, a great tight end.
Yeah. It comes down to the quarterback.
Yes.
These are names that I like at the position. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is an okay receiver. He might not be the number one on the team, but I think he's good enough to be relevant. Harold Fannin, Quinshawn Junkins, I think the kid could run, but it's who are you trusting, Shadur Sanders or Deshaun Watson?
And that's the big question mark. I think if they go Shadur, and if he can build chemistry with Concepcion, and then Jeudy being the number two guy, and then Fannin being your touchdown tight end guy, maybe it works. But I don't trust Shadur either, right?
Yeah.
Like he is again with all the hype that surrounded him because of his dad. I don't think he is that great of a player. I think at the end of his career, he's not going to be a bust, but he's not going to be a superstar.
He's probably going to be a backup.
Middle of the pack. He'll be a middle of the pack. Like at the end of his career, he'll be, for his era, he'll be in the middle somewhere.
Do you think he has a career similar or less than Jimmy Garoppolo?
I'm going to put him in that whole same category. Baker Mayfield.
I think Baker's better.
The dude that went to Seattle who had the one good year.
Sam Darnold.
No, not Sam Darnold. The one that went to Seattle before that.
Geno Smith.
Yes, Geno Smith. Like he'll end up having one or two good years, and that's going to be it for his career. Danny Dimes. Everybody's Daniel Jones is he's such a great quarterback. He had 3/4 of a good season. Because in New York he did nothing. I'm sorry if there's Daniel Jones fans out there, but He really did nothing in New York. Yes, he had a resurgence last year and then got hurt. So we'll see what comes back for that player. We talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of the Sam Darnold would be another one. Had maybe a couple of good years, but does he fade back into the land of mediocrity? I think that's where Shedeur is going to sit most of his career, is the mediocrity, and have 1 or 2 good years where the team just comes together. They have a really good solid year or two and fade back in.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the top end of his career. I don't think that's that's the definitive outcome. I don't have high hopes for Shedeur. Yeah.
And I think Watson is just too far past his prime. He hasn't played enough in the last 3 or 4 years to now come in and be a superstar like he was when he first started.
Yeah, Deshaun Watson has made more money than Patrick Mahomes and has played a whole lot of less football.
Yes. Yes.
It's just sad. Okay, so let's break down how we think these teams are going to finish. We dunked on them a little bit here. There wasn't a lot of positivity. I have the Ravens winning the division this year. I have them going 11-6. I think if Lamar is healthy, I think the team's going to play very well. Regardless of what you think of the other teams in this division always play each other very, very well. That's something you taught us over these last couple of years, is that this division plays each other super tight, regardless of their capabilities. It's always tough. So I'm going to have the Ravens going 11-6, winning the division. I've got the Bengals actually coming in second. I think the Joe Burrow healthy offense, knowing exactly who they are and what they do on offense, they're a multifaceted offense. They're not just like a one-trick pony. I like what they could possibly do if they did improve their offensive line. I think that's just a massive boost for them. Even with a crappy line, they were able to do some amazing things last year. To me, it's the defense. If their defense can keep them into any close proximity to the game, it's just going to allow their offense to do what it does, score some points, and just edge out that victory. So I got them going 8-9. So not an amazing record, but coming in second. Record. It's a losing record, but it's still 2 in this division. I've got the Browns coming in third, going 7-10. And to me, it's all about Shedeur Sanders or whoever the starting quarterback is. If that quarterback can actually live up to any kind of expectation and deliver upon any promise that they were drafted at, here, let's see what it can happen. Even given that, and the fact that they lost Myles Garrett in a blockbuster trade to the Rams, I think this team faced many one-score losses. Had it gone the other way, the record would have been a lot better. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they actually fall on the, let's say, the neutral or positive side of those one-score losses and turn them into one-score wins this year, finishing 7-10. And then I've got the Steelers with significant changes to their entire organization. This might be their year to get right by doing the worst they've done without Mike Tomlin. So they rely on Aaron Rodgers to tank their season. It doesn't go well for them. There's all kinds of dysfunction, and they put themselves in a position for a better quarterback draft pick for next year. So that's it.
Interesting.
I go Ravens, Bengals, Browns, Steelers.
Okay. Mine's different. I've got the Bengals going 12-5.
Ooh, big believer here.
And that's going to be all predicated on everybody staying healthy. I mean, this team, it's probably been 4 years since they went to the Super Bowl that the team stayed healthy the whole year. Do I think they are going to dominate the conference? No. I've given them 5 losses. I think the conference winner is only going to have like three losses. But I think, like I said, this all kind of lands on the shoulders of everybody staying healthy. Next, I've got the Ravens, and I got them at 10-7.
All right. 10-7.
So right where you have them.
Pretty close, yeah.
And again, it comes down to, like we said, if Lamar Jackson stays healthy, if he crumbles, they crumble. That's exactly what happened to them last year, right? So, and then I have the Steelers at 8-9 because I think the Steelers are going to come out a little bit stronger and then falter down the year. With the new offense, everybody will be excited, everybody will be jacked up to play. They may get 2 or 3 really quick wins in their first 5 games, go 3-2, and then the last bit of the season, they maybe even go 0-5 to finish off the season type thing.
Okay.
And then I got the Browns at 5-12.
Okay, so just repeating what they did last year.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen with the Browns, unless they get early success, like how you have them winning some of these 1 or 2 point games, unless they get early success and get some confidence, it's going to be okay, we're back to where we were last year. We suck. We're the laughing stock. And the self-doubt kicks in, and now we don't even have the best defensive player in the league anymore. We couldn't even keep that. What the hell is this team doing to us? Right? Like the losing mentality kicks in, and right, it could be even uglier for them.
It was the right move to move Myles Garrett.
I think so.
Exactly what they need. They got 2 first-round draft picks and a young stud who could not exactly fill the space, but who is a good selection.
Yeah.
Because they need something to try and get a hit.
Well, a guy that's as talented as Garrett is, one guy on the whole defense is not going to make the defense great.
Oh, I beg to differ. Myles Garrett is the dude that essentially made that defense great, and we'll probably see it in fruition here on how strong he made the Browns.
That you need more than just one guy, is what I'm saying.
Sure. Yep.
To make put him in Detroit's defense. Put him in what's another really good defense? The Ram. Well, he's in the.
He is on the Rams, right?
Rams,
which is the
right?
shitty part for the rest of us.
Yes. Put him in San Francisco's defense. Put him in Pittsburgh's defense from a couple of years ago.
Put him in Seattle's defense. Put him in whatever defense he goes to. But he is going to be dominant in his role.
But he would be. The thing is, though, he would be that much more dominant with those other teams because, like in Cleveland, the offense needs to go, okay, we're going to triple team him the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Because the rest of the defense isn't as strong. But you go to Seattle or Detroit or whoever, like if you had Hutchinson and him on each end,
Who do you
stop? You
can't double team one of them because the other one you're just going to let loose.
Exactly. But that's the point that I'm making is like in Cleveland, you're almost wasting his talent because you can't get to see exactly his full potential because the offense can focus on him. And
let me just walk myself through what you just said. You just identified we have not seen him at his fullest potential. He's the defensive player of the year. He has established himself as the best defensive player in all of football, one of the scariest guys to play against. And because of that, he's in a predicament now where we haven't been able to see him at his peak. Can you imagine what he's going to be like on the Rams?
Especially if what's his face comes out of retirement.
Yeah, Aaron Donald says, you know what? I don't even have to be as good as I was. I can be half-ass Aaron Donald on this end because Myles Garrett's on the other end, and I'm still going to look like a defensive god because I'm going to crush people because he's doing the same thing on the other side. Yeah, he's an unfair cheat code.
Or you give him a guy like Joey Bosa,
Who's still available in free agency, by the way.
but that's just it, right? Like if you give him some other weapons, right? Then the offense is going to have a trouble running the ball. They're going to have trouble throwing the ball.
You're going to have trouble standing up in your pocket, right?
You're going to have to have a two-step drop and throw. So everything's going to have to be short passes.
It's going to be the Joe Flacco system.
If your linebackers are really good too, then the offenses will be shut down, period. So I think to me, they lost their absolute best player on the team.
They did. And it was almost fair that he was on the Browns because it made it fair for the rest of the league. Now that he's on a team that is actually a Super Bowl contender, it's going to be wild to see what he does to people.
Hopefully it's very competitive still. But my worry with the Rams though now is, can the offense be as exciting? That's the problem. They may get some shutout games. They may have shutout games.
Yeah. They're not going to have to. It's going to be the Blake Corum and Kyron Williams
show. Would be awesome to see like a Ram or a Seattle defense with a high-flying offense like Philadelphia from a couple of years ago, Kansas City a couple of years ago, Cincinnati a few years ago. Like if you had one team that had both sides of the ball just jacked up, that would be fun to see. It would almost be like watching college football where Michigan is playing Appalachian State. No, I don't want to use that one because they beat us. Bowling Green.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a Div 2 team against an elite team where you're getting the 85-7 blowouts, right? Like
where everybody gets to play. You're benching your starters after the first quarter.
It would suck. It would suck, but it would be great for fantasy.
Yeah.
Because your quarterback would still probably get a ton of points, but he doesn't get to play the whole game because he's always getting benched because they're blowing everybody out.
Right. Because no need to risk that level of talent.
Yes.
Okay.
But having said that, let's start getting through some player analysis.
Yeah. All right, so just to recap, you went Bengals winning the division 12-5, followed by the Ravens at 10-7, Steelers 8-9, Browns 5-12. Okay, Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's their lineup right now. We've got Aaron Rodgers coming back at quarterback. They have Jalen Warren returning with the team. They signed Rico Dowdle as the backup to replace Kenny Gainwell. They do have DK Metcalf. They went and traded for Michael Pittman Jr., and they've got tight end Pat Freiermuth, which they did pay in an extension. Rookies they grabbed, the wide receiver Jeremy Bernard in round 2, quarterback Drew Aller in round 3, wide receiver Caden Wetjen in round 4, tight end Riley Nowakowski in round 5, and running back Eli Heidenreich in round 7.
And nothing on this lineup anywhere, not even Freiermuth, screams superstar.
Nothing screams superstar. I am excited for Michael Pittman, though. Here's why. I don't think Aaron Rodgers can throw it more than 10 yards. And if Kenny Gainwell was your number one quote-unquote wide receiver as the check-down running back, it's going to be either Jalen Warren or Rico Dowdle or Michael Pittman who gets the ball 1 yard across the line of scrimmage. Yeah, right. He's just going to be like, that's who's going to get it.
The sad thing though is, does Aaron Rodgers hang him out to dry, and he gets his head taken off?
Murder ball after murder ball after murder ball.
Yeah. So, like I said, nothing on this team really screams out at me, but I think, like I said, some early success with a new offense, everybody excited, blah, blah, blah. If they have a weaker schedule to start with, they might get their 3 or 4 victories
That's
right off the bat.
because they won their division. They have one of the hardest schedules,
Yeah,
right? So like they're not in a good situation. It is not
not
the
favorable for them, no.
it's not favorable for them at all. Yeah. So I think the fantasy assets here are going to come somewhere in the short range. So maybe the running backs like Kenny Gainwell last year, but it was inconsistent. He wasn't always the dude. So whichever running back they decide to go with, maybe. And I'm just saying Michael Pittman because I own him in several places, so my fingers are crossed, and I'm hoping, knock on wood, that he's he's the possession receiver. They just target him a lot.
And you gotta hope that he can break free, right? Get the yak.
Mm-hmm. Get something, right? Like he's going to catch the ball 2 yards, maybe across the line of scrimmage, and then hope to like break something free. Yeah. Okay. Wow, we got Baltimore. Baltimore is leading off with Lamar Jackson, who's going to be fantastic as long as he's healthy. Derrick Henry, who for some reason is having a better life and career than Frank Gore at his age. So more power to you, Derrick. And then Zay Flowers, who might have finished as a top 10 wide receiver last year, but was not consistently a top 10 wide receiver. So he's going to be hit or miss. And then in a weird move, they extended Mark Andrews and let the young guy, Isaiah Likely, walk. So not
Which I don't understand, but okay.
for whatever reason, that's what they did. They drafted some rookies. So they got wide receiver, Jacoby Lane, round 3. Wide receiver Elijah Surratt, round 4. Tight end Matthew Hibner, round 4. Tight end Josh Cuevas, round 5. And running back Adam Randall, round 5. So I still think everything comes from the usual suspects here. Lamar doing everything, Derek doing everything that Lamar doesn't, and then Zay Flowers catching the passes with Mark Andrews catching the touchdowns.
Sounds about right. I
Yeah.
would agree with everything. Um, maybe they'll try out that Hibner or Cerveza at tight end partway through the year if Andrews doesn't replicate what he did last year.
Yeah. Which is catch the ball and fall in the end zone. Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that Andrews did as well as he did last year with somebody over his shoulder looking to take
Uh-huh.
some snaps from him. And maybe that's why they kept him, was just, hey, touchdown machine.
You're just a big target in the end zone. We love that. Yeah. Okay.
And then we got the best team,
Yeah, your
the
Cincinnati
Bengals,
Bengals,
going
which
with the
has so much to offer, right? You got
yes.
Joe Burrow, you top 5 quarterback. You got Chase Brown, who's going to be a top 10 running back quite potentially. You got Jamar Chase, who's a top 3 wide receiver. T. Higgins, who can potentially be a top 10 wide receiver as long as he plays the whole season. And then you got old Mike Gesicki here, who might be just like the odd man out because there's just not enough to feed everybody.
And I think even their third wide receiver, let me just look him up here.
Yoshi
Isn't
Boss?
that bad? I think the third is a decent
I think it's
wide
Yoshi
receiver.
Boss.
Was it? Let me just double check.
Well, while you're doing that, they did draft wide receiver Kobe Young in round 4 and tight end Jack Andrews in round 7. So they didn't do a huge investment from the skill position standpoint. We are hoping that they improve their defense a little bit and their offensive line.
Yeah, you're right. Yosivash is the
Wide receiver
the
3.
number 3 guy, and he had flashes of
He
good play
did.
last year.
Only when one of the big 2 are out.
Yes. I think you might see like Colby Young, or what was his name there? Mitch Tinsley kind of be battling for that third spot, but we'll
Okay.
see. Um, I think from a Cincinnati standpoint, you're right. Like, I think in their offseason, and you saw it in the draft, they didn't really draft a lot of skill players. They went after offensive line and defensive players. I
As you
think
should. That was their biggest need.
they moved up to take that defensive lineman as their first pick, and that was in the second round because they didn't have a first round pick.
What? Give me a second here. I'll pull up there. So Cincinnati drafted in. So they don't have it. They did not have a first round draft pick.
No, they didn't. I think, but they had an earlier second round, and I think they took a defensive lineman.
They took Cassius Howell, round 2, pick 9. Then they took cornerback Takario Davis in round 3, pick 8.
That guy that they took, the first guy, what was his position?
He was an edge rusher.
Oh, yeah.
So edge, cornerback. Then they went center in Connor Liu, and they traded up. So they traded from Houston via Detroit and the New York Jets. So it was just a pick in the 4th round that got passed around quite a bit. And they drafted a center. Then they went wide receiver. Then they went back to center. And then they did tight end and then defensive tackle in the last pick, or pick 10 of the 7th round.
And maybe it was the center the last few years that's caused Burrow's injuries. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. So here we are with the Bengals. I think we're good with them. Cleveland, again, I like what they did here on offense, but because of the quarterback questions, it's tough, right? So they've got Shadur Sanders, they've got Deshaun Watson, they got Gabriel. Is it Dylan Gabriel? They drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round last year, who's also on this roster. It's like they invested into the quarterback position, but didn't really have anybody that.
And then they took one in the draft this year.
Yeah, they did. So here we are. They got Quinshon Judkins, who I like as a running back. He did get an injury last year, missed some time, but he was good when he was on the field. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy. I don't think he's a clear wide receiver 1 for a team, but I think he's a good enough wide receiver. And then Harold Fannin, who did rise up regardless of the quarterback play. This kid still performed, and he was sharing the role with
Njoku.
Yeah, David Njoku, who's now gone off the team. So maybe this kid just like solidifies that role. I think good things could happen here. And then here's where they spent their money. They drafted wide receiver Casey Conception round 1. They doubled down wide receiver Denzel Boston in round 2. Tight end Joe Royer round 5. And then quarterback Taylon Green round 6. When they took Taylon Green, it just said to me that one of these 3 existing quarterbacks isn't going to be here. So like Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, Shadur Sanders, one of them is going to be gone.
Yeah. And I think it'll probably be the 3rd guy, and then this guy will probably slot into the 3rd spot as a project.
Yeah.
I really like Concepcion in Boston. But I think it's going to be a couple years out. They got to sort out the quarterback first.
They do. I think it's next year. I hope this team tanks and ends up as one of the worst teams in the league this year so they can get a good draft pick and the quarterback in flush draft next year.
Yes.
Okay. Now that we're at the point in the show where we are going to draft our best divisional fantasy lineup. So quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, and flex.
I think they're going to be the exact same in this division.
It's going to be close. I think it was pretty close. We were pretty close last.
Yeah, I think we only had 2 players different. Yep.
I think it's been pretty similar here. I'm gonna say the ones that are going to be exact same on. We're going to go Harold Fannin at tight end.
Yes.
Okay, right. So I'm going to get the ones I think that we are going to be the exact same on.
Your wide receiver is going to be the same.
Yeah, it's Jamar Chase.
Yes.
Ooh, sorry. Paste. Oh, I did that wrong. Copy. Go over here. Paste. There we go. Yeah, Jamar Chase. Is there really any chance of being anything different? Like, could you even remotely consider anybody else at wide receiver?
At the wide receiver, no.
Oh, right. Like I
Even if
wouldn't. I
Jamar
wouldn't.
Chase gets hurt.
Then T Higgins would be the next man up.
But I think,
But
like, even like last year, Jamar Chase was hurt for part of the year, and he was still the top wide receiver in the division.
okay. Now those are the two I think we're exactly locked on. I think at quarterback and running back, I think there's the chance that we can be different because I'm going to name you 4 starting quarterbacks, and 2 of them I'm going to take off the list right away. I'm going to say Shedeur Sanders, skip. Aaron Rodgers, skip. Now you're down to Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Those are 2 top 5 quarterbacks.
They're projected to be 2 points apart in their points.
Okay, so you're really like you're really not going to go wrong. It really comes down to health. We know that Lamar misses time, Joe Burrow misses time, and if they don't miss time, they're both top 5. So in this case, if you want, I'm willing to split. I will let you pick yours first, and I will.
Well, you
pick
know who
all
I'm
three.
taking.
You're taking Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Okay, you can have Joe Burrow.
And quite honest, to be quite honest,
Mhm.
this is the make or break year for Joe Burrow.
What
I
do
think
you
if
mean
he
by
goes
that?
down again,
Mhm.
and the team falters, they gotta move on, find another quarterback. You can't have this glass quarterback for another 10 years.
Oh man, that's tough.
And even
'Cause-
like I'll even go out on a limb and say Patrick Mahomes is starting to get into that category too. I get that Patrick Mahomes has been phenomenal with a twisted ankle, playing hurt. But the last couple of years, he's started to miss more and more time with injuries. And if
Sure.
these guys can't stay healthy, the team's got to start moving on. Like, how do you stay competitive when your $50 million guy
Can't.
is playing 5 games?
Does Joe Burrow have a no trade clause?
I have no idea.
Let's say he
Probably.
doesn't. More than likely he does. Let's just say he doesn't, though. Let's say he does not have a no trade clause. What team wouldn't go out and pay a fortune like they did for Myles Garrett to go get Joe Burrow? I wouldn't be upset if my Detroit Lions did. Like, I love Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff is the best budget quarterback you can get for a team.
100%, but he doesn't have more than 2
Joe
or 3
Burrow.
years left.
Right, but if you go and get Joe Burrow and put him on the Detroit Lions,
But yes, it would be great. But do you take the risk that he only plays 5 games? You go out and you spend the farm the next 3 years worth of capital in draft picks. It's like the movie Draft Day. You're going to give away 3 years of 1s, 3 years of 2s, so you can get your linebacker
just for one Super Bowl. I think teams do it. I think that's how they play now. They don't play for long-term success. They play for one win, and then they're done because you're betting everything for that one win. The Los Angeles Rams have done a great job going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl, and they're in that window, but they are about to kick everything down the road and have to pay the piper because they just mortgaged everything they had to put themselves in this situation, and they're getting old and they're going to have some issues to face. The debt's going to come due at some point, but that's what teams are doing. They're going all in, mortgaging their future to get that win now.
Yeah. That would be the team that would scare the hell out of me for him to go to.
Oh, jeez. I don't think they could swing. I don't think they have enough assets to go out there.
They don't. But like for him to be the heir apparent.
My goodness. To Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford goes
because he's got 1 year left. I don't see Stafford. I just not that his body
physically.
I think even mentally, I think he's kind of resigned himself to this will be my last year. I think he thought about it. I think the only reason he is doing it this year is because of the MVP season he had
last year. Yeah.
If he did not have that MVP season and where he's like, because he even said himself, I didn't know what my back was going to do, and my back was great all year. If he had had another back injury, I don't know that he would have came
No, he
back.
probably would have tapped out.
Yeah,
I would have hoped he would have tapped out. You don't ruin your
your legacy.
a
Yeah,
great career trying to come back and do what Aaron Rodgers is
yeah.
doing.
So I just think Burrows could go to a team, but it's again I guess it's that high risk, high reward.
That's exactly what they're banking on. Is like, hey, look, we
Because
saw
it
what
could be a
you
real
could do,
disaster for you.
but you're risk adverse here. Okay, that leaves our running back in flex. I know there's a lot of options here we can go with flex. Let's talk about running back. I'm going to throw some names out there because there actually are some names here that we can argue over, and I think there's some chances here. Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, and Quinshawn Judkins. I am not going to include any of the Steelers running backs because I think if you were to consolidate them all together, maybe.
They're
But
going to be down.
they're
They're
going to be
going to
divided.
be down in the 20s.
Yeah. So to me, Chase Brown sits on top of the list, followed by Derrick Henry, and then Quinshawn Judkins is that dark horse where he could do something fantastic if he stays healthy because his per games or points per game last year when he was healthy put him in the top 10 where he could have done some great things on a crappy team, which to me says a lot. If you got a guy who can score on a crappy team, that's talent. He's just not healthy.
Yeah.
So do you go?
I have Henry.
Chase, you have Henry. Oh, I was going to go Chase Brown. That's wild. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
I think it's going to be. I think they're projected only about 5 or 10 points difference for the season.
okay. Does the age of Derrick Henry alarm you at all? Even though he's past the typical norm of Asian running backs, he has not shown that age is an issue for him, and he continues to run with like tenacity and veracity. He's just
both teams. I'm going to say the same thing about both teams. If their offense is balanced, if both teams have a good balanced offense, Henry has the edge, I think, because
okay.
he's more powerful. He can run over guys. He can get the goal line touchdowns and stuff like that. Where when it gets balanced, Henry doesn't have to carry the ball as much. Like if the receivers are catching and Andrews is catching and Lamar is healthy doing his thing, they don't have to rely on Henry as much, so he stays fresher.
Okay, so that puts the ceiling at Derrick at the highest. So if Lamar is healthy and the team is moving, he does less work but has a higher ceiling.
Yes.
But now, if you have an injury.
In Cincinnati's world, again, if the offense gets balanced, now you have 3 good wide receivers, because I'll throw Losivash in there. Mm-hmm. Three good receivers wanting the ball, potentially Gesicki wanting the ball at tight end. That's going to pull away from Chase Brown. Where last year, with Burrows hurt, and then having
Chase hurt,
a few different
hurt,
a few different quarterbacks in there, filling in and backing up, Chase Brown had to do more. So with the offense, I think where Henry's workload decreasing helps him, Chase Brown's decrease hurts him.
Okay,
I think that's
like
the way I kind of.
Yeah, that's why I picked Chase Brown. I'm betting on the norm being that there's going to be an injury somewhere, whether that's to Burrow or Chase Brown or Jamar Chase or T. Higgins.
Yeah,
when an injury occurs to one of those three, all of that extra work flows to Chase Brown. Because if it's Joe Flacco stepping in, Joe Flacco's looking to check down to Chase Brown more than he's looking deep to either of his receivers. And that's where Chase Brown had a great year as soon as they got going is, hey, Jamar Chase is on the field. I'll take his work. Oh, T. Higgins is on the field. I'll take his work. Oh, it's Joe Flacco behind center. I'll take the extra workload. And I think that's what I'm betting on here. Is I'm betting on the potential of what Chase Brown will do.
Sure, and you know what, you're right. He does. I think That's why I think there's very few points separating the two of them as well again. And it could also even come down to strength of schedule.
Yeah. Which the Bengals will have a weak strength of schedule because they finished third in their division.
Yeah.
All right, so then let's get down to wide receiver and running back flex options. I don't think there's any tight ends we want to throw in the mix here. But wide receivers that you can consider, I would say, would be T. Higgins, Zay Flowers. Running backs would be the running back you didn't pick. So for you, Chase Brown. For me, Derrick Henry. Those would be the three names I'd throw up there. Do you have a different name that you would like to throw into this mix that you would be considering?
I had written down Judkins.
Okay.
And then I crossed them off.
Okay.
I again, Cleveland too much of an influx going on there. I put Flowers.
Oh, that was my. That was going to be my sneaky. No. I think that's good. Okay, because I don't want to be the Zay Flower owner. I don't. I really don't want to. I don't ride that. I don't want to ride that roller coaster.
Yeah, this is a big. I'm stepping out onto the edge of the roller coaster, and I'm hoping like hell it stays on the track.
Hey, you just need him to finish good. It doesn't have to be game to game great. You just need him to have a great season.
Yes, he needs to be very consistent. He needs to be consistent. And that's going to come down to Lamar.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be consistent. I think he's going to have games where, like, hey, we need you this game, so you'll be the dude, and you'll finish great, but you won't have week to week. Like, it'll be a highs and lows. So I think that's a great. Just because you went Zay Flowers, I will pivot. I will go T. Higgins, who I think is a good option. I don't want to go Derrick Henry just to neutralize that. Yeah. I want to keep it.
T. Higgins is a great pick too.
Yeah, I think T's going to be good. I think he's a solid wide receiver too.
But what scares me is, does Chase take his? If Chase is healthy, is Chase? I mean, now you've got both Chase and Higgins, which
I do.
Hey, has worked out for you in the past, where you've had the two guys, and both of them, between the two of them, they get you a bazillion points. But
Chase, go get me 20 points a week. Higgins, give me 10. I'm happy with that. I'll take that. I can't expect to have 20 points and 20 points from two wide receivers on the same team, but I know that is a strong path.
Chase, go get me 20 points. Flowers, go get me 20 points.
Sure.
Henry, go get me 30 points.
Well, that's possible. That's definitely possible.
Burrows, get me 40 points.
But then I'm stealing the points from you, right? Like, that's the thing, right? I've literally got Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. So if Joe Burrow goes off, I'm getting all those points anyways.
Yeah.
Because I've essentially stolen all of his other assets.
Yes.
All right, so here's my team. I'm Lamar Jackson, Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, Harold Fannin, and T. Higgins. Your team: Joe Burrow, Derrick Henry, Jamar Chase, Harold Fannin, and Zay Flowers.
I think this could be the tightest division, points-wise.
Could be very close.
Of all of the divisions we pick. Unless there's an injury, and then it could be a blowout.
Yeah, that's the crappy part. Anything's possible when an injury. We want to play as if everybody's going to be healthy. It's all going to be good. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's episode. Thank you very much, everybody, for sticking with us. We're going to continue working through these divisional breakdowns all throughout the summer as we get closer and closer to football, which Andrew pointed out before we jumped on the show. We're less than a month away from the Hall of Fame game.
August 6th.
Awesome.
It's a Thursday this year, which is weird.
Oh, they're trying to make that a thing. Whatever. It's still football. Enjoy what you can get, ladies and gentlemen. Again, enjoy your summer vacation, everybody, from one poor man to another. Remember, if it's not fun, it is not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.